Hello everyone, welcome back to a very special video. I'm DTM, and we have with us the May 2026 SDR Rank 1 data. That's right, with the end of the SDR season 2 days ago, we are now here to take a look at the meta and see which units were used, what team archetypes were utilized, and yeah, hopefully you all enjoy and learn something from this analysis. And if you do like the content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help out this channel a lot. And I really do appreciate all the constant support. So yeah, when we start with the captain skills, it is very clear that decisive is the main one being used. This is the one that gives potent, which is generally a more tricky effect to give to, say, a nuke compared to like true damage or even hardy bearing. True damage, there's like a lot of ways to get that, like favor and whatnot. Hardy bearing doesn't really have a lot of value right now. Like no one's using Harmonic Brave Ike, and if they are, well, he's kind of a pushover. Our HR winner, everyone. So yeah, that's why decisive is very, very high usage when it comes to the captain skills. And then when it comes to the bonus units, yeah, Lucina is the only bonus unit being used because, let's be real, you are not using Celica or Alir. Obviously, like, not a lot of people used Emblem Lucina compared to the SDS season last month. And that is because in SDR specifically, it is a lot harder to slot in units. And so generally, people only slot in Emblem Lucina if you really have to for like the bonus life or whatnot. Otherwise, it's a lot better to swap Emblem Lucina out for another unit that actually helps your team and supports them, or like be like a nuke or like continue the steamroll, etc., right? You actually want a unit there that helps your team instead of just the bonus unit, because you only get one team as opposed to SDS where there's 4, so you can easily slot Lucina in somewhere. And so yeah, that's the reason why, despite being a bonus, Lucina is only at 20%. And yeah, when it comes to like the usage rates, Alphador, once again, reigning on top. I feel like he's been at the top for all that I've done this. But I mean, he deserves it because obviously being able to share bonuses is just really, really strong. Not even sharing bonuses on your own team, but also the enemy team as well. And Alphador kind of acts as like a great equalizer, right? Like you can just, if the enemy team has any annoying bonuses, Alphador can just give it to your team as well without even the need to run those units on your team, right? Like that's why a lot of people don't run Heimdallr, actually. They just rely on the enemy team having Heimdallr and slot in a unit that is actually a lot more helpful than just the snare. And so if the enemy team has Heimdallr, Alphador gets the cancel, passes it on to the nuke or whatever unit that is in the front. And if the enemy team doesn't have Heimdallr, well, that's still a win because the enemy team doesn't have Heimdallr, so you don't have to deal with that, right? It's the same thing with Gallop. It's the same thing with all these bonus effects. And so yeah, Alphador is actually the great equalizer. Any effect you don't have, but the opponents does, well, now you have them as well. And so Alphador is just really, really good at leveling the playing field, and which is why he is such a staple for a lot of teams this SDR season. Very clearly number 1 by a large margin. And yeah, sharing bonuses is still extremely strong. Bonuses, we have some crazy bonuses right now, if you can't tell, with Snare and Gallop. And so, yeah, being able to equalize that, or even just pass it on, say like Gallop to Lyn, for example, is just absolutely powerful. At number 2, speaking of bonuses, we have Mythic Tiki here. And yeah, so with the rise of all these bonuses like Snare and Gallop, one of the main ways that people deal with that is by running Thor, right? Because Thor's dual button gets rid of all the bonuses on the enemy's team within 5 rows and 5 columns. This is especially true to like counter Heimdallr, because unlike in SDS where you can just ban Heimdallr, you have to deal with Heimdallr in SDR, and one of the main ways people do that is through Thor. But if you run Tiki, then obviously Thor does nothing for your team, and you can keep the bonuses that your team presumably relies on, right? And so, yeah, that is why Tiki here is at number 2. Being able to keep the bonuses, just stop Thor, is really, really good for teams that specifically rely on like Snare or Gallop, for example. And if you can't tell, there's not a lot of saves, right? Besides Tiki. Tiki is generally not used as a save. So really, the protection that most of these teams rely on is Heimdallr. Either Heimdallr or like the huge threat range that Gallop or Extra Movement has. And so if that is your protection, and it could just be like gotten rid of with a press of a button from Thor, that would be really bad because it will just destroy your whole team. So Tiki is kind of here by necessity for those teams that rely on that. And so, yeah, that is why she is at number 2. Very, very strong at denying Thor button. Basically the only reason why you run her. It's crazy how much mileage she gets just due to being able to deny Thor button, because she is definitely not saving. That's what I'm telling you. But yeah, she is at number 2. A really huge rise too. She was like number 6 in the previous SDR and now at number 2. So yeah, that just goes to show how important being able to keep your bonuses is right now, or at least like being able to, you know, rely on these bonuses to overpower the enemy and make them not be able to just get rid of it. And so, yeah, Tiki's here at number 2. At number 3, we have Sakura. Sakura is pretty straightforward, has been a mainstay since her release, I would say. Salvage is just really, really strong, and there is no counter to Salvage right now, especially in combinations with units like Lin, or even like Byleth or Leon, potentially. Her ability to allow you to get a full retreat is really good, because normally one of the ways the enemy teams deal with like your unit going in to kill the enemy unit is that they'll get a counter kill on that nuke. Well, Sakura just makes that untenable, because that nuke could just like fully retreat all the way back so that the enemy can't reach you, and so you can protect your nuke and use them for a lot longer. Sakura also can run Byleth Ring, so like after your nuke comes back, Sakura can do like Ice Lock or Guardian or whatever, most likely Ice Lock, dance up the nuke again, and then allow them to go in and then retreat back again, because Byleth Ring re-enables Kanto. And so there's just a lot of synergy with like nukes being able to go in and out with Sakura with the Byleth Ring. Salvage, yeah, is really strong. Being able to protect your units, maintain that numerical advantage is really strong. And so yeah, that's why Sakura here is at number 3. At number 4, we have Heimdallr. The snare is probably still the best mechanism to protect your own units from dying. Saves are not in a good spot right now, especially SDR. Like in SDS, you can make things work with Emblem Lucina and Lucina Ring, but in SDR, where everyone's putting everything onto one team, people are generally prepping that one team to be able to deal with everything, Lucina Ring included. So that's why you generally see FEUD from, like, say, Veronica, which we'll talk about, from Lin, who just has FEUD by default, or just running FEUD skills, right? And so, yeah, saves, unfortunately, are not reliable in SDR, which is why you have to run Heimdallr. Again, we have Thor button, so a bit iffy still, but we do have like Tiki to mitigate that somewhat. And yeah, Snare still allows you to guarantee survive one hit, and maintain like a numerical, at least equilibrium, and be able to protect your units as you go in, which is especially important when we have a lot of high threat range units like Lin and like Sigurd teams that can potentially give Gallop to the rest of the team. And so being able to protect yourself from that onslaught is really, really important and powerful. And so Heimdallr here provides that protection and is the best form of protection right now, which is why she is at number 4. At number 5, we have Veronica, and Veronica has like jumped really high, like from number 16 to number 5 in the rankings from the last SDR. Like FEUD has gotten so much value, and Veronica specifically can apply FEUD 3 times, right? Like at the start of turn, when she does the first swap, and then after getting potentially danced by Byleth Ring, you can apply FEUD again. And FEUD is one of the strongest effects right now because we have, like, again, Emblem Lucina, we have Miracle support from Valley, and then there's also like a lot more drives and cruxes and whatnot that, you know, your nuke just doesn't want to deal with. And so Veronica here just shuts that all down and allow your nuke to just nuke. Like plain old 1v1, you know, final destination, Fox only, honest matchup. And so, yeah, Veronica being at number 5 makes sense. FEUD is super, super strong, especially nowadays with like Emblem Lucina, Valley, etc., etc. And so slotting Veronica on your team if your nuke doesn't have FEUD just allows your nuke to be able to take out a lot more units or have like a lot more flexibility in terms of matchups and stuff like that. And so, yeah, Veronica here is at number 5. FEUD is really, really strong. At number 6, we have New Year's Valley. And yeah, Valley is also had a bit of a rise from number 15 to number 6, similar to Veronica, which is interesting because Veronica hard counters Valley Miracle support, but not Valley herself, because obviously Valley is still a very annoying tank to deal with. Basically, with very few exceptions, she cannot die in one hit, or one combat. And so it generally takes 2 combats minimum to deal with her, which means that in general, Valley can just like creep up to the enemy team and be this like huge threat range nuisance in front of the enemy team that they have a hard time dealing with. And yeah, New Year's Valley is not the greatest nuke. She doesn't do the most amount of damage, but again, there's not a lot of save units these days. So you can generally find like a squishy unit to take out. Or if not, you can like pop the snare, for example. There's just a lot of ways to use Valley. And also Valley provides that frontline protection as well. And it feels a lot comfortable using her because you know generally that she is not going to die, at least in one combat. So she has a lot of utility there. So yeah, that is why she is at number 6. Very, very annoying frontline unit that also applies threat range and forces your enemy into very uncomfortable situations. All right, at number 7, we have Leon. So Leon is a new unit from the last SDR and immediately made an impact. The CN community really, really likes Leon. Leon is featured into their copy pastas. And yeah, Leon with like the disabling of saviors and the end actions that he does make it really effective for him to deny the enemy action economy. Action economy is a very important part of Summoner's Duels, and so Leon being able to shut down specific units that you just don't want to deal with, while also robbing the enemy team of moves that they can do is really, really good. Now, there are some downsides to Leon. He's not the strongest nuke, unfortunately. Doesn't kill through things like Valley, or even like saves like Ignir or whatever. Like basically any real tank does not fear Leon's nuke. But what Leon does have, again, is the end actions ability that he does have, which if you play it right, it's not easy, right? You have to like make sure that the correct speed values or you have to check like the enemy speed values to make sure that the unit you actually want to get end actioned is going to get end actioned. So you have to be very mindful of that. But if you are big brained and can pilot Leon teams, then you can use this very, very effectively to have Leon just go in, cancel a bit out, and end action the unit you want to end action so that they can't retaliate, right? That's how the Leon teams generally play. And you have to remember, these days, you don't really see Canto control or firm Canto curb stomp that often, right? Like, people generally think dual Leon sort of shenanigans and Sather shenanigans are like in the past. And so Leon kind of occupies a bit of an anti-meta right now because no one is running Ferb Canto Curb Stomp. I mean, infantries are in a really bad spot, so that is also part of the reason why. But yeah, because like there's not a lot of Ferb Canto Curb Stomp, that means Leon's end action is actually effective, unlike back when Ferb Canto Curb Stomp was released, that just immediately ended dual Leon's career. And so, yeah, who knows? It's interesting because like if Leon ever does become like a huge threat, people will just start to run Ferb Canto Curb Stomp. But given that like he does have limitations on nuking and not being able to take out necessarily the tankiest units, I don't foresee him like being an all-powerful meta threat. But obviously this SDR, he is meta because, again, no one's running firm Canto Curb Stomp, and end action, if you can play it right, is still really, really effective. And so, yeah, that's why Leon here is at number 7. At number 8, actually, this is tied with number 7. So technically, Leon and Thor are sharing number 7. We have Thor, and I mean, I sort of gave the spiel earlier, but Thor button is one of the most powerful things in SD. You can get rid of snare, you can get rid of gallop, you can get rid of salvage, you can get rid of all the bonuses that Alphador took. There are a lot of strong bonuses right now, so just having Thor button get rid of all of that is insanely strong, and like it's a huge momentum shifter, especially if the enemy team doesn't have their own Thor. And so I have seen matches where having Thor versus not having Thor literally makes or break the match, right? Like Thor literally wins matches or loses matches because of Thor. And so it's interesting. Yeah, getting rid of snare, gallop is really strong. What can I say? All right, and then at number 9, okay, this is another tie. Thankfully, I caught this in advance. Let's talk about Byleth first because Byleth is new. Fallen Male Byleth is another one of the main nukes that we have alongside with Leon this season. Byleth is very, very tanky, although it can be inconsistent at times. Sometimes he'll just like tank literally everything, and then sometimes he folds like paper. It's really weird from what I've seen. But in general, he is very difficult to take out. And what that means is that you can have Fallen Male Byleth go in and then take out a unit on the enemy team, activate that extra action. And normally that would be bad because then the enemy team can just counter kill you, right? But Byleth, as long as like you take out the enemy's most powerful nuke, can generally just survive whatever the enemy team has left, and therefore can then take out another unit and then Canto back to safety. And so because of his bulk, he is able to do that really, really well. And he is a competent nuke. He's not insane like, say, Lin is, just due to Lin having built-in FEUD, but you can support Byleth with like Veronica or even like Mia for the reflex. Byleth makes really good use of reflex support. And so there are ways to make his nuking like insanely strong and effective. That combined with his bulk does allow him to do that playstyle I described earlier. And so yeah, that is why Fallen Male Byleth is one of the primary nukes we have. And then last but certainly not least, at number 9, tied with number 9, we have Brave Harmonic Lyn. And yeah, Brave Harmonic Lyn is the best 3-range cavalry nuke we have in the game right now, solely because she has FEUD literally built in. You don't need to run Veronica or any C FEUD on the C skill or anything like that. You just have it built in, and obviously that makes team building a lot more flexible. Lyn herself gives empathy, which means you can run favor on her and a bunch of other teams, and you don't even need to worry about swapping or assisting Lyn. She'll just get the true damage given by favor right then and there. Normally, the biggest weakness of Lyn is that she only has cancel remaining, minimum of 1, so it's a bit hard to have her retreat. But this is SDR, right? You can just run Sakura with Lyn, and then Salvage just fixes all her problems. And so yeah, Lyn, because of FEUD, being able to not worry about Emblem Lucina, not worry about Valley Miracle support, Lyn can just like cut through so many different nukes. And not nukes, cut through so many different tanky teams. And yeah, in combination with the range, generally you like give extra movement through Alpha Door and a Sigurd ring on like another teammate. And Lyn has like insane range with that, like 7 range. If the enemy team has Gallop, then Lyn has 8 range, which is, yeah, you're not beating that. So yeah, very, very huge range, very, very strong nuking, built-in FEUD. What more can you say? That is why Lyn is another one of the nuking units we have this SDR. So yeah, that is the top 10. So when you compare this to the previous SDR, I did mention that Tiki rose from number 6 to number 2 right now. So going from where Valley is to where she is now, she's obviously like she was already pretty high in the top 10 previously, but now like she's like at the number 2 position, which is a pretty big jump. But I would say the biggest jumps actually are Veronica and Valley. Veronica, again, FEUD has gotten insane value, going from number 16 to number 5. Obviously really strong there. And then Valley going from number 15 to number 6. I've already talked about these units when I went over them in the top 10, so yeah, do refer to that. And in terms of like units that are no longer in the top 10 or like dropped really, really far, the biggest notable one is Balder. Balder was originally number 3, where Sakura is currently, but she has dropped all the way to number 17. Like Balder, it's far from the days when Balder was the premier nuke. And I think the simple reason why Balder has dropped is because, one, she doesn't have the range that, say, Lyn or even like Byleth or Leon have. She only has 5 range, which is very, very limiting. But like that would have been fine. Like there are ways to deal with that. You could just rely on Heimdallr cancel to get Balder in. But I think the biggest reason why Balder is dropping is because we have risen in terms of bulk in the meta for the past 2 months, especially with Emblem Lucina, that Balder can struggle to kill the tanky units we have in the meta right now. Like Balder struggles quite a bit. And so if you can't kill consistently and you have less range than, say, like the other nukes like Lyn or Byleth, then there's not really a reason to use Balder anymore. Like then like the biggest boon to Balder would be her tankiness, but we kind of already have that with, say, again, like Byleth, for example, or just have them protected by Snare. And so, yeah, unfortunately, Balder is no longer the premier nuke due to the fact that she doesn't really nuke that hard because of the rising bulk. She has limited range, and yeah. So yeah, that's why Balder dropped. Another unit that dropped, not as dramatically, but still dropped, is Elise. Like, Elise was previously number 5. To be fair, Elise was bonus, so maybe that was just because she was bonus, but she has dropped to number 13 now. And I think people are starting to realize that the style that she has 3 rows, 3 columns, limited to 6 range is actually a very limited range. Like if you compare that to Thor button is 5 rows and 5 columns and infinite range. And so that just makes it a lot more flexible to use Thor and a lot easier to get rid of the bonuses that you want to have, like snare. For Elise, popping the snare with her style is a lot more difficult because you have to line it up a lot more strictly. And also you don't get the added bonuses of just getting rid of bonuses in general like you do with Thor. She does have the anti-save, but again, people are not really running saves this SDR, so she doesn't really get any value from that. So yeah, she dropped from number 5 to number 13. Other units that dropped are Erica. Erica was like a latecomer in the past SDR. Like her banner released as SDR was going, but she was still able to make an impact, being at number 9, which is really respectable considering that like for like, I want to say a quarter of SDR's run, like she literally was not able to be used. So being able to have a later starting point, but still make an impact at number 9 was really good. But she has definitely dropped off like really hard from number 9 to number 23 here. And quite frankly, the reason is because of Lynn, right? Lynn has built-in FEUD and because of that, she can nuke a lot more consistently and a lot better. So why are you using Erica when you can use Lynn, right? Like you just use Lynn instead of using Erica. They are both 3-range cavalry nukes, so they have a lot of overlap in roles. So for SDR, you generally choose the best one, and that is Lynn. And so yeah, that is why Erica has fallen down here. Claude only has 2 users. Speaking of 3-range users, 3-range nukes, yeah, you just use Lynn. Lynn is the best one. And yeah, the final one I want to talk about is Harmonic Brave Celica. Harmonic Brave Celica was number 10, where Lynn is right now. But yeah, she has fallen to number 28, which is a big drop. And I think that it's just the simple fact that Lynn has more range, so why don't you use that? Like, you use Leon because of the end action gimmick, so Leon there has some uniqueness. Use Byleth for the tankiness to be able to go in, attack, Gale Force, attack again, then retreat, so it's a different playstyle compared to Lynn. But Celica pretty much operates very similar to Lynn, and so yeah, you just use Lynn because Lynn has FEUD built in. It's crazy how much value FEUD has gotten and how Lynn just rises in value just because she has built-in FEUD. It's interesting. But yeah, so that's the data when it comes to like the units. So when it comes to the teams, this SDR, there were 3 main archetypes, and they mainly revolve around the 3 main nukes that we saw. So that is Leon teams, that is Byleth teams, and that is Lynn teams. We will start with the Leon team because the Leon team was the one chosen by the Chinese community and is the most popular copy pasta. Yeah, so this team features Leon, Heimdall, Alphador, Feroxy Crom, and Thor. So Leon's Savior Denial with the end action of the highest speed foe starves the opponents of attackers, right? Especially if the opponent didn't speed tune their teams. There are possibilities to deny multiple units of their actions if they like share speed stats. In particular, the CN Pasta runs the close counter seal on Leon so that if Lynn doesn't have Arch Rival procced, he can counter kill Lynn if like Arch Rival's not proc. Again, like Leon's firepower, is pretty lacking, though obviously anti-save does sort of mitigate that a bit, but obviously you will run into units that can just flat out tank Leon relatively often. Like, yeah, like most saviors Byleth, Valley, they can tank Leon pretty reliably. Thankfully, Chrom is here, right? And Chrom is actually super synergistic. If you run him with a high-speed build, he can get kills on Valley and Byleth, which Leon struggles with. And so Chrom can like function as the main tank buster of the team if Leon can't get the kills, which is really, really nice. In addition, Alphador, Heimdallr, Chrom can take the cancel, give it to Leon, or like Alphador can give the cancel to Leon, et cetera, et cetera. And in combination, like with Alphador, Chrom, you can give the cancel to 4 units. And yeah, that is really frustrating for the enemy team. It makes it very difficult for the opponent to attack into you while also facing the potential of Leon just going in and disabling the units proactively. Right, like we have Heimdallr providing the defensive end action, while Leon provides the proactive offensive end action. And then Thor is here because, you get rid of the opponent's snare and other bonuses. It is important to note, though, that this team is extremely hard to pilot. Like, very, very hard. As I mentioned when I was talking about Leon, you have to pay attention to all the speed stats on the enemy team to make sure that the unit you want to get end action does actually get end actioned. So you have to be aware of that, because one wrong move, one end action that doesn't correctly get onto the right unit can mean it's over for your team, right? You have to think about whether to go in, which units to attack to be able to disable the correct unit, making sure you can get out once you lose the snare protection because of attacking. It's very, very high level. So that's why you generally don't see this pasta outside of the CN community. But the CN community apparently loves playing at that high level, which is why it is by far the most popular pasta. Like, everything else here is just like different variations of different cores, but this pasta is like very, very consistent. And so, yeah, that's basically the Leon team in a nutshell. Using the Heimdallr cancel, get on 4 units, move in with Chrom and Leon and Alphador and whatnot, and then have Leon selectively attack units to end action the enemy units, hopefully the ones you want, and then be able to dismantle them slowly but surely that way. You have to be very meticulous, but it is very effective. All right, the second team, unfortunately, the other two, like Lyn and Byleth, they have a lot of variations. So you won't see them with a concentrated team archetype or like a team count here. So it's actually best to go to the unit companions, and we can take a look at Lyn. But yeah, the Lyn team generally features Alphador and Sakura, and then 2 flexes, right? Popular choices for flexes are Heimdallr, Tiki, and Thor, which are next in line. This is a very simple team to understand. Alphador spreads an extra action, presumably from Sigurd Ring, on one of your other units to Lyn. If you have snare, then you also spread the cancel to Lyn, or if the enemy has snare, that works too. And then Lyn, just goes in to nuke and then retreats with salvage, right? Very, very simple playstyle, very easy to understand. Yeah, Lyn is the best 3-range nuke due to built-in FEUD. And the main weakness of not having good cancel is solved by Sakura, which is why you have a high companionship with Sakura here. And then, yeah, as for the flexes, Heimdallr guarantees giving Lyn snare as opposed to relying on the opponents having it. It can be a double-edged sword if you face an enemy that has an Alphador, but no Heimdallr, because it means you're giving them the snare. So it is a bit of a double-edged sword, but it is an option if you want to be more proactive about that. You can run Tiki to prevent Thor button, mostly ran with Heimdallr teams, and then Thor can disable the opponent's snare. And then, yeah, if you do give extra movement from like Sigurd Ring, it is important that like one of these flexes have harsh command, or like some sort of cleansing, like from Makai Ring or whatnot, because there is a lot of stall in the meta. So being able to cleanse that away is really important if you're going to give extra movement to Lin, because otherwise Lin would just be stuck at one movement, and that would suck. I would know. It kind of ruined me more than once. But yeah, very, very simple skill to understand, or simple team to understand. Alphador and Sakura are the core units to make the Lin team work, and then the rest you can like shuffle in and out whichever you want. And then yeah, the other last but certainly not least team archetype revolves around Fallen Male Byleth as the main nuke, and this is the one with the most variations, right? The most consistent teammates here is with Alphador, and that is to give Byleth like the bonuses and stuff, and again, be that great equalizer if the opponent has like a Heimdallr or Gallop or whatnot. But after that, there's a lot of variations. The Chinese community generally has Veronica, Valley, and Sakura. That is the main pasta from CN. But like other units like Mia and Tiki are also common. And generally you mix and match them. Veronica can provide the feud support to get past like Valley Miracle support and potentially Lucina Ring. Valley allows Byleth to survive a lot more things, give him a big boost to his tankiness, and also just be a nuisance at being on the front lines and providing that threat range obstruction that the opponents just have to deal with, which can help Byleth go in, take out multiple units, and then come back, and then have just Valley there frontline as like a protective unit, right? Sakura can be run to allow Byleth to fully retreat back. Mia, as I mentioned when talking about Byleth, provides reflex, and reflex on Byleth is really, really strong to take advantage of his big DR. You can potentially use Tiki to deny Thor button. Yeah, this is the archetype that has like the most variations. So you generally just like pick and choose depending on what feels best for you. Obviously, Alphador is the main one, and the idea is to use Alphador to give Byleth a bunch of bonuses while positioning him in, and then have him go in and both tank and nuke. Most often, he goes in, takes out a unit, and then with the Gale Force, he stays there, but is able to survive with his tankiness. And then being able to survive, he'll take out another unit and then retreat. So yeah, it is very important Byleth is able to survive. This is why like Valley can help with the miracle. Lucina Ring helps as well. Mia generally just helps with the kill damage. But yeah, that's the general idea when it comes to this Byleth team. Just go in, Gale Force, rely on his tankiness to survive, and then go back out. So yeah, that's the team trends of this season. And we can go to the regional trends because there are some very interesting regional trends. When it comes to like the CN community, they are definitely the biggest on New Year's Heimdallr. Like if you look at JP and EN, they're around the 20s, while in CN, they're nearing the 50%, like literally a coin flip. You might say, okay, so maybe they like Heimdallr New Year's specifically, but the other regions like Mythic Heimdallr more. And that is true to a certain extent. Like Mythic Heimdallr does not exist in CN apparently, but it is still really interesting that of the regions, CN is the most concentrated on New Year's Heimdallr, and that's generally because CN is like the most quote unquote up to date early adopters of the meta, and therefore are the most likely to just have all the Heimdallrs there. And so yeah, yeah, that's why they're the biggest on New Year's Heimdallr. One other important thing to note is that they are the most prominent users of that Leon pasta that I mentioned, which is why like Leon, Chrom, and Thor, where's Thor? And Thor are also like really high on CN compared to the other regions. They are obviously the units you used in that pasta, and therefore get that boost there compared to the other regions. Interestingly, they're not the biggest fans of Lin, only 2 Lin users. They prefer like Byleth over Lin teams, which is interesting. I guess they're not as fans of like the long range sort of Sakura playstyle with the salvage compared to like Byleth or Leon. So that is really interesting. When it comes to the JP community, they're definitely the biggest on Tiki. Like 50% compared to like the low 20s or even 16%. Most of this usage is for Tiki. To a lesser extent, Lin as well. I've definitely seen the JP community gravitate towards Lin type teams compared to the other regions. So yeah, that is pretty interesting. They are the lowest users of Alphador. Like they like Tiki a lot more than Alphador, which is interesting because Alphador spreads the bonus. So you would think that they would use Tiki to prevent Thor from getting rid of it. But I guess they have teams that don't need Alphador to spread the bonus. So they rather like slot in Tiki as opposed to Alphador to be able to protect the bonuses that they have compared to like spreading it around, which is what Alphador offers. So yeah, that's really interesting. And then for the EN community, they are the highest on New Year's Valley. The EN community really loves the role Valley provides in being that like frontline obstruction while also being able to kill the squishy units, so the opponents have to like be very, very mindful about that. It just adds a lot of cognitive load to the enemy while also like preventing the enemy from just directly going in. And so yeah, they're the highest on that. They're the lowest on Leon by far. I think the rationale behind that is Leon is very, very new. And EN, from what I can tell, generally like is like a slow mover when it comes to like adopting the latest and greatest shiny new toy. And also, again, as I mentioned, the Leon teams take a lot of concentration and you have to pay very, very, very big attention to the match, which, you know, why do that when you could just run Lin teams or Byleth teams and go unga bunga? So, yeah, I guess that's why they're not as high on the Leon teams. So yeah, that is the data. Very, very interesting this time around. Got some falls, got some rises, got some interesting different teams and regional variations. So very, very cool to see. Of course, that is not the last thing we have. We have one final thing, and that is, of course, to award the top 3 least meta teams, aka free thinker teams that reach rank 1 this SDR. In case you don't know, we also use this data to calculate how much of a meta player you are by like basically summing the units usages that you use and calculating a coefficient. And yeah, we use this to determine how much of a meta player or how much not of a meta player you are. So yeah, at number 3, we have 1,000. So 1,000 is like a FEH You can check out their channel. But they are a huge Tsubasa fan. And so, yeah, they have Tsubasa at the captain, which is really, really cool because obviously Tsubasa is not meta by any means. But it's really cool to have Captain Tsubasa reach rank 1 alongside with like Atelius themed support. Like we have Micaiah, we have Emblem Micaiah, we have Rearm Soren, we have Spring Rearm Soth, and then we have Ilian Mia. So yeah, this is like Atelia's support crew for Tsubasa, which is really cool to see. And yeah, 1,000 is also a huge fan of Telius. So it's really cool seeing 1,000 get their like faves to rank 1. You love to see it. All right, at number 2, we have Alpen, aka Blue Pen. And Alpen, or Blue Pen, is a huge Ingrid fan. And so, yeah, they were able to reach rank 1 with 3 Ingrids, which is really, really cool to see. We have Ike, Brave Ike, or Harmonic Brave Ike here, and Spring Harmonic Erica. So it's not completely all Ingrid, but, you know, it's still having young Rearm Ingrid, still having Summer Ingrid of all units. Like, having Summer Ingrid here is like a miracle. But yeah, being able to get like 3 Ingrids to rank 1 and having to rely on Ike for like tank support or like being like that frontline tank, because like Ike just dies to Lin, to like Byleth, whatnot. And I guess like Erica is It's still a good 3-range nuke, but obviously not the best. You still have to deal with FEUD. But yeah, these two supporting the 3 Ingrids is really cool to see. Congrats on being able to get the Ingrids to rank 1, Alpen. You love to see it. Congrats at being number 2. And then at number 1, this should be surprising because I think they've been number 1 for a lot of times. But yeah, it is Evan KPB. And if you don't know, Evan is a huge Needhogger fan. And so they were able to get Needhogger to rank 1 alongside Hortensia, I believe for like Guardian support, Emir for cleansing and I guess miracle support, Marianne, Rearm Marianne for I guess dance support, and then Tibarn for frozen support, which is really, really good. Like Tibarn is like kind of deceptively good because of the frozen support he's able to get. So. And also like deceptively tanky as well, especially in combination with Emir and stuff like that. So yeah, congratulations to Evan for taking these not like really used units. Like I think, are they the only unit? Are they the only one to use Emir? No, 3 other people use Emir. And 1 other person used Tibarn, I see. But they're definitely the only one to use Needhogger. And Marianne. I think there were some Hortensias that I saw in the data as well. Yeah. But unlike, I guess, the other 2, there's all low, right? Like we had Mia from 1,000, which is pretty high. And then we also had the combination of Ike and Erica, which I guess actually, no, Ike only had 2. Huh, that's interesting. I guess, unfortunately, the Ingrids are also popular, so yeah. But yeah, anyways, congrats to Evan for reaching rank 1 and for being the number 1 least meta player, aka the most free thinker of the season. Congratulations. And yeah, that is the data for this SDR. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. Yeah, and a big shout out to all the people that helped out with the data collection. I couldn't do it without y'all. Y'all are amazing at being able to get all the data and for me to be able to compile. Shout outs to them. And yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help out this channel a lot, and I really do appreciate all the constant support. And yeah, let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on this SDR meta. What are you expecting for the next SDS that is in 2 weeks? And yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed. Hope you all have an amazing rest of the day, and see you all next time. Bye, everyone.